One of my scandals was that people thought that I had sex with my pet bird. Like, I'm not kidding. And
did you say bird?
Were you pretending to?
Here I am having a healthy life, healthy relationship, all these things, but I know it's gonna be so bad for business.
The Botox starts with your eyebrows here and then it's here, and it's like every single day I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, who is this person?
I portray a life I don't actually live.
Well, I post about myself and my life every day, so I'm posting exactly what's going on in my life. Okay, like I need some money, somebody to help me with my kid. Can I have a man? I need a man. Okay, make sure you don't edit that part out.
No, same. My stuff is very authentic and vulnerable to my real life, and I wouldn't be an influencer or have a platform or even make content if I wasn't just portraying my everyday life.
Yeah, I literally just vlog what I do every day, and I tell stories of things that actually happened. So I feel like it's pretty accurate to how I live my life.
Yeah, I guess our lives are interesting enough that people want to watch it.
Yeah.
True.
Well, on the other end of the spectrum, I do not, because I created a character for my content. That was a really important thing for me once I was trying to start this content creation journey, was I wanted a wall, a barrier to say in between my real life and the audience, because honestly, like I enjoyed not being able, not posting in a while, but nobody worrying about where I'm at, who I'm with.
That's interesting because I feel like sometimes I have no boundary in between like my actual life and my job. It's so meshed together. Everything that I do, it's in the back of my head, this would be a good video, and I almost always act on it and I end up filming it. I used to be much better at keeping those things separate, but now because they're so intertwined, it's very hard for me to not jump at an opportunity to make a good video when I'm doing something interesting or fun. And I'm not sure how I'm gonna work on that because I'm not in a good place with it. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but the thing that I struggle with the most with filming constantly is I'm just always in my own head. Like, what am I gonna say next in the video? Instead of being present and talking to the people that I'm with.
That's why I stood at disagree instead of strongly disagree, because there is always that little voice in the back of your mind of, I have to make sure that this is entertaining and I have to keep people engaged all the way through, and there's things that I have to do that would be authentic to my life that's just simply not good content. So I'm gonna not film myself doing those things. So accidentally, the life I'm portraying might not be as authentic as it feels to me, even though to me it does feel authentic, but I'm like doing my computer work at midnight when I can't film. Yeah.
It's like a little bit more polished, but
Yes.
it's still real, it's still you, but it's more like
Through a
shiny.
filter.
Yeah, it's filtered.
See, in my YouTube days, I think the only thing I really had going for me, I used to do like story time videos. I was called the Gabbie Show if you were on like Vine or like
That's
early.
where I know you're from.
There we go.
Oh.
Like early YouTube. So the thing that I really had going for me was just that I wasn't polishing anything. Like pimple on the face, like greasy skin, like really truly messy space, and also mental health. Like I feel like a lot of my traction was because I was one of the earlier creators to really show like depression, anxiety. And I think it did some good, but I think that like coming online and doing story times or like getting emotional and like crying because like, wow, this is like actually hurting me, but also the views of this, like the blur of authenticity and just completely exploiting yourself was like treacherous. So I had to like take a huge step back to the point where I share very, very little at all. Like honestly, I'm surprised I was asked as an influencer because I feel like I'm like retired, but.
I really liked what you said about like how you have this character that's, you wanted to nip it in the bud. You wanted to have kind of like this separate entity. Like you're running the account, but you have a character that you've kind of built.
Hannah Montana said it best. You get the best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds,
But
that's true.
do you guys, because like on my end, doing that, it has been a double-edged sword, especially nowadays when me and my team are like trying our damnedest to get out of this because we need to push this a little bit more. And we're revisiting, kind of like I'm restarting in a way. I'm doing all the things that I used to do in a costume, but now as myself.
I'm jealous of you. I'm like very much trying to think of concepts that don't revolve around myself and to where you can have like consistency that you're not sharing everything going on in your life. And like, just as a personal example, I had a very treacherous few years and my channel did really well during that time, but I knew that I was going to be entering a more steady season of life. And with that comes decline. And so part of me is like, oh no, like here I am having a healthy life, healthy relationship, all these things, but I know it's gonna be so bad for business. And I wish I had something that was detached from me. I do YouTube vlogs. I do 3 a week and I have for like 10 years now. Wow. And I'm in a contract where I have to continue doing 3 a week. So in some ways it feels a little sticky and a little stuck, but I went through a phase in my early 20s where I was married and went through like a very messy divorce and just shared all of that in live time as I was learning things, which is great television and terrible for your mental health. So yeah, now I am remarried and steady and in a healthy relationship and love that for me, but don't love that for numbers.
People love a hot mess.
They do, they really do. In a lot of ways, I'm really thankful that I kind of just laid it all out there on the line and shared it all. Also, I do think oversharing that in a sense removed all of the shame of it for me because it felt like I was owning my own story and I was the one putting it out. And I know I can be really hard on myself when it comes to critiques and negativity, but I never feel embarrassed. I think who I present on social media is pretty accurate to how I actually live. How I think and how I speak and how I see the world is accurately represented. I think from the outside in, I'm the same, but from the inside out, I am more just internally calm without the social media commentary that I have in my brain going all the time of like, how am I phrasing this? How could it be misconstrued? Do I need to choose different words? I just am always kind of self-editing in my brain with that social media persona in mind.
And even with, what character did you say, Hannah Montana? That ended. I mean, eventually you just can't pretend for so long. We know who you are.
Exactly. It's like, once I started getting more into these spaces as myself, I didn't feel respected. Honestly, I didn't feel respected, you know, from the work that I've already put in, only because I have done that work in a costume. You almost start feeling like you don't know yourself.
Exactly.
You know,
like you have to get a new audience almost because they have to get to know you. Because some people stay stuck. This is what you are. This is what I like. I need you to keep on the dress or whatever and stay that.
Absolutely. I get it all the time. I post something without a wig and the comments are like, it's either I didn't recognize you or who is this? The character can't live unless the Nick is the same exact type of person. So like, as long as Nick is happy, the character can live. And this Nick is constantly happy now to where I thought that happiness would create more for the character, but that happiness actually created more for myself to actually step away from that character. I thought the character was my happiness, but she really wasn't. She was there for the time being, but the more confidence and the more happiness that I started to gain through her, I started to want to utilize that and apply it to my real life.
Yeah. I relate to having a character because if I don't wear green lipstick and I show up, it's like, oh. And I could take my daughter to school and I'm like, hello. And the principal's like, hi. Oh, hello, how you doing? Okay. I gotta, be the clown all the time. Even though, unlike you said there's a different character. That is me, but that's not me all the time. Sometimes I'm calm, sometimes I'm hyper. And you take 2 or 3 minutes and that's who I am all the time to you. That's it. 10 years later, that's it. Who do I think I am at this point in my life without the green lipstick? Nobody without the green lipstick. I really wish that I had another channel or another outlet where I could be myself without it. Without the green lipstick, not as funny, not as known, not the person who's the voice of a troll on the series, not a person that interviewed the president, not that person. You were like, who are you without the green lipstick? Well, I would love to find out. I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm not seen without the green lipstick. I'm in a beautiful jail. It's nice here. It's great. However, I want to get out and I don't know how to do that or if I ever will. And boo-hoo to, it's like those first world problems, but it's still a problem.
I think similarly to you, I don't really have a character. It is just me, but my videos are definitely, I'm high energy, I'm excited, I'm kind of like squawking at the camera. But I think when you kind of memify yourself over time, like you said, people expect this like they think you wake up and a switch flips and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's like,
Yes.
but that's not your life all the time. Like I would say 90% of the time I'm a very calm person, but sometimes I'm not. And sometimes there is a crazy story or a funny joke that I think of that I have to tell on TikTok or on Instagram, but people kind of expect this like wind up toy when they
Right.
meet you, and
That's so real.
you can't always perform to their level.
And you can't change. When you're an actor and you're on a movie, you could be a Marvel character here, and then next time you're a doctor, and the next time you're a teacher, the next time you're dying of this. But us, we are it.
What if the story you're telling yourself isn't the whole story? We're all moving through life boxed inside an invisible, personal reality filter, a perception box. Your perception box shapes how you see the world and how you judge yourself and others, often without you even realizing it. So if something in this episode makes you a little uncomfortable, ask yourself, what am I reacting to? What story am I believing? And what might I be missing? Now let's get back to the video.
I've feared being canceled.
So I had a little period of time where it was just like lightning rod of just little dumb drama things that didn't really like matter a lot. But then it just became like, honestly, kind of dark at a point where it felt just constant from every angle, and then just kept getting like, honestly, darker and darker and like weirder, because people are crazy. And that's why when you were talking about like wanting to like let yourself, like you feel safe, don't. Like, why would you feel safe? Like, I want to shake you. I had like the fear. You realize like some cancellations are valid, and then some are somewhat true, and then some are like maybe a little true but not worth what it got spun into. And you see so many examples of people's careers just like ending. And I did fear that for a really long time, which is why I came over here, because so much of my life for multiple years was obsessing over that. And then once things happened where it was like, oh, she's canceled, or cancel her, or whatever it was like, okay, but nobody's ever truly canceled until they give up. So then it became this thing where it's like, well, I'm not gonna let people win.
That was
like,
deep, honey.
Anybody who's engaging in cancel culture because they believe that it's helpful is wrong, because nobody's ever changed because they were hated. People have changed because they're shown love and empathy and compassion. But at the end of the day, everybody deserves forgiveness and grace, because we're all given forgiveness and grace, and you have to give what you want to receive. It's one of those things where it's like I have to be careful how far I talk, because it's easy to tailspin, right? But I guess the summary from my perspective is just like, people realized that they could continue to say things that weren't true, and it just like spiraled out of control. Sorry. I cried in the car before this because I was like, let me just get it out there, but it sucks because if you like say that, people are like, oh, you can't take accountability, but it's like, no, you're asking me to apologize for something that's not real. So that's why I stepped back, because it was just like, I accept where God is like moving me. So like, if you would have asked me like a month ago, like, do you think cancel culture works? I'd been like, honestly, yeah, because like it changed my life. Like that was how I found true peace, like comfort, slow mornings, like enjoying the success that I already acquired, that I'm now just at this point trying to like redeem a reputation that nobody cares about. And that's ultimately what like I really came to, is like, who cares about me? And I mean that in like the most self-loving way. This isn't worth fighting for. Like, okay, so people online don't like me. That's okay. Like I have like my family, my husband, like my community, like my people online who I'm friends with, and that's like the most important thing. But yeah, I guess that's like.
You're not relying on that to eat then. You're not relying on it for your money then.
No, and that's, if
not like that for
anybody's like,
everybody.
side note, if there's any like influencers out here watching, like young startups, save your money, like retire, like you might get canceled, whether you know, whatever, just save your money, invest well, and retire early. I guess sharing my vulnerability stopped feeling like a release and more like a burden whenever I was no longer being celebrated for sharing. Because there was a lot of time where it's like, yay, like vulnerable, like so honest, like we need this. And I think that is true. But then when it's like, hey, like I'm getting like very publicly mocked for like my mental health. And like now it's like this thing that made me sort of like relatable and real is now the thing where it's like, she's psychotic, she's manic, she's evil, she's a narcissist, she's a manipulative, like horrible person, she deserves to die, literally. Like cancel her, like literally put an end to her.
I relate to that last thing you said like so much. Like I feel like I got canceled so many times, and the thing that comforts me the most is like my friends love me, my family loves me, and they know who I am. Like why do I care? Like what all these like losers are saying about me that don't know me, like it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of like my personal life. So that really helps me a lot. But I feel like I got canceled like so many times in such a short period that I somewhat don't fear it as much anymore, because I feel like I got it over with, like all of the craziness. One of my scandals was that people thought that I had sex with my pet bird. Like I'm not kidding. And
did you say
like,
bird?
People genuinely believed this, and
Were
that
you
is
pretending to?
no.
Was the
There was
bird
no
close
like
to
there was
you?
no like suggestion of that.
No,
like,
Sleeping, the bird wing was like.
No, so I made a TikTok once, and I was just like, oh my God, like I just found out that if you like pet, because I have a pet bird, if you pet his back, like it can turn them on. And I made this video about it, and people ran, and that is to this day like my biggest scandal, and it's so like crazy, but like people have
Because
taken
like it's bestiality, it's like she's a pervert.
But did they keep it up?
craziness. Oh, it's still to this day. Yeah. But I feel like that was the biggest one. And there was like a little ones around it, but it got so dark for me too. I literally had to delete the app for like 8 months. I focused on YouTube.
I've exploited my personal life for content.
I mean, I feel like my whole platform was literally just that. Like it was the Gabbie show. Like it was literally.
So you have exploited, right?
My content outside of Vine, because Vine was just like very short, little catchy things. And then as soon as it was to go over to YouTube, so it was just like, okay, well, let me do a Q&A. And then from there, it was like, people recognized my face from Vine. So then like YouTube just grew so quickly that I was like, oh, this is what I do. So then I'd be like at Playlist Live or VidCon and be like telling stories. And then there'd be these like major creators who were like, you should tell that online. And there was like this like little kind of gut thing in me. I was like, no, I feel like that would be, you know, too much, whether it's about me or another person. And then it just got to a point where it's like, you kind of bend what you're willing to do a little more and a little more and a little more. And before you know it, you're just like bearing everything. And then it got to a point with me where like, I've never been afraid to be emotional on camera. Like I would cry, like I would rant, if I was like going through something, I would share it, like really like emotional, like trauma dumping type things, because it was getting a lot of views. And at the time it was kind of, well, you know, at the beginning-ish of mental health. So the more you talked about it, you were like applauded for that. Like it was like, oh my gosh, you're so brave. Like you're helping destigmatize mental health. In exploiting your own vulnerability, you're ultimately in a way exploiting the audience's vulnerability. But then they expect what they paid for, what they're asking for. It's like, give us everything, like dance. And yeah, I feel like I went to a pretty far extreme with it. Like I think that I've probably shown more like mental health breakdowns than most people can like really relate with. And I wanted to. Like I wanted people to understand that this actually was having an impact, and I didn't want to let it stop me. The first time I ever sat down on a camera and I was like crying, I was like, this is obviously totally unnatural. I remember like editing some of those earlier videos. I'm like, wow, this is like really intense and like real and raw, but there was something that I did like about it, that it was just kind of like, I'm not a documentarian, but I feel like that's probably the sort of feel of just like, wow, this is so real. So I would say immediately I knew that it was exploiting it. It was quickly batted away because it made the most money. You just give a little more, you give a little more. It's like, whoa, like that video got 1 million a day because I was crying in the thumbnail. Like, boo-hoo, like pay me some more, you know?
So in terms of oversharing and vlogging through my divorce, I think that I accidentally gamified me finding things out in real life for other people. Like it almost felt like a murder mystery party for people of like, oh, she's finding out things that she doesn't know yet. I bet we can also find out things. And I learned so much of what I didn't know that was going on in my own life by people just being internet sleuths and then like sending me screenshots or whatever. And in some ways I'm thankful because maybe I wouldn't have ever known that. And it's like helping to put puzzle pieces in the puzzle that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. But in other ways, it feels like we're crossing so many boundaries right now. There's so many lines that have been crossed. So, yeah. A lot of women go through divorces in their 20s, but nobody feels like they know anyone else that has. And that was a recurring theme that I saw in my comments and my DMs is people were like, I am 24 and I'm going through a divorce and I feel so ashamed and so alone, and watching you navigate it makes me feel like somebody else gets it.
Well, I explored dating, you know, because everybody seems to be interested in that and how, you know, bad it goes. So then I'm filming everything like, oh my goodness, look at how he eats and how he snores, you know. Well, I lost a husband because of it, because I'm just videoing, vlogging about my life, and I'm thinking we're gonna have a kid, but then it never happened. And then I had to do IVF, and I didn't know the story was gonna go so long. So I already started talking about it, and then we had to get a surrogate, and then it's been more than a year, and then it turned into a series, and then I'm like, okay, we have a baby, that's great, and he's gone. You know, because I was filming everything. That was the most important thing. And I thought, like, he's cool, we cool. You know, I thought, but, so I do feel like, wow, you know, I have my daughter, but I probably would have everything if I hadn't put it all out there.
Wow, that's powerful.
Thanks for sharing that.
So the next husband, come on. So after posting everything of my life, and what was going on, how this didn't work, how that didn't work, how, you know, then we had to find somebody to carry the child. I think overall it was, he said, and I've never said this, he said that I castrated him. So I knew it was pretty much done there. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. So I look back and I'm thinking, I'm a great person. I'm wonderful. You know, I'm kind. I have a good heart. Why would you leave me? Obviously it's him. It's his fault. You know, you want to leave, you're not talking, you know, you shut down. That's you. I'm talking. Boy, am I talking. I'm telling everybody. Oh, you told everybody. Oh, he's got uncles, he's got aunties, he's got sisters, he's got brothers, you know, and I'm not taking into account that people are like, well, look at what your wife is putting out there. I'm like, forget them, because I'd already been through that. He had GloZell with the green lipstick. He didn't have GloZell without the green lipstick. That person didn't even exist anymore.
I feel like it never used to feel like I was exploiting myself because I wanted to. Like the first 2 years I did TikTok, I posted 4 story times a day just because I had so many like insane like TMI stories that I had to tell, but I loved doing it. But I feel like recently, this is TMI, but I do OnlyFans, and I bought a house a couple of years ago that I could afford at the time.
Wait, what?
I do.
And you got a fiance?
I do.
Is he in only? Like, you
He's
show
in some
your
of it.
feet?
He's in some of it. I don't show my feet. Well, I guess I do. But I started it a few years ago, and I bought the house a couple of years ago, and I was making a lot from it, and I feel like it's declined quite a bit, like my income on OnlyFans, because of the place in life that I'm at right now. I'm no longer like psycho and like going out drinking all the time, and like I'm at home with my fiance and like cooking, and I just feel like that sort of content doesn't direct to OnlyFans, so I don't make as much money. So I feel like recently I feel like I'm exploiting myself more because I'm talking about things that I don't really want to talk about, and I'm just like grasping at straws and like telling all these stories that I never wanted to even tell. And now I'm at the point where I have no secrets. And I'm like, so like a couple of weeks ago, I was like trying to be crazy again, like just to direct traffic to my OnlyFans, because that's the only content that does that. So I was like just exploiting myself in ways, like I was going out and getting really drunk with like my friends and like filming things that I wouldn't normally film for TikTok just to do that. And it made me feel so icky because that's just not who I am anymore. So I stopped doing that recently. But then the other day I told this story that I never was planning on talking about. I put it behind a paywall, so I'm not gonna talk about it now because it will make me sob, but like I never wanted to talk about that, and I felt like I had to. So now I just feel.
Is it still up?
Yeah.
It's not too late to delete it, is it?
No, but I mean, it's out there now. People typed it all out, put it on Reddit, and all the things.
Confused to what OnlyFans is.
Maybe? Do you know what it is?
I thought I did, but you said when I'm talking and I'm videoing and I drink, like
Oh no, I just mean like the videos that I make on TikTok will direct traffic to my OnlyFans.
Got it.
I had a pet bird, and this is like really like deep to me. Like I love animals, I'm vegan, I have pets, and I had a pet bird for a while, and he was in a lot of my content, and so a lot of people like knew him. His name was Marty, and it got to a point, and like it's hard for people to understand who have never owned a bird before, but they're very like complex creatures, and you have to be like a very special type of person to own a bird, and I was not that person, and I tried for so long to make it work, but it was getting to the point where I would literally like walk the streets all day long just so I wouldn't have to be home, because he caused me like so much overwhelming anxiety and panic attacks and like just straight up distress, to the point where I rehomed him to my dad, but I can't see him anymore because birds are just so connected with their owners. I felt like such an awful person for doing that, and I'm so like humiliated and ashamed by it. And I was never gonna talk about it. People ask me all the time, like that's the question I get overwhelmingly every day, like where's Marty, where's Marty, where's Marty? And I was never gonna talk about it because I'm so embarrassed by it. But I feel like it's gotten to the point where I'm like trying to like pay my mortgage because I built this like house off of my OnlyFans, whatever, that like I felt like I had to talk about it finally, and I didn't want to. So, I've like never.
Talk to you because I'm like, you trying to pay your mortgage,
It's
but
crazy,
you got a fiance.
Yeah.
You're not paying?
We split it, but it's like a crazy mortgage because I built it based off of what I was making at the time, like an idiot, and I'm not making that anymore.
But you have a fiance.
Yeah, but he has like a normal job, so, and it's like a really big mortgage.
Where's my close-up camera? What?
Being an influencer has changed how I see myself.
Changed how I see myself? I think because when internet started and YouTube started, I was already older, so I was pretty much myself, as opposed to someone who was 16, 17. You're not the same person at 22, 23.
No.
I was like 30, now I'm 53. I haven't changed too much.
For me, it has kind of just like dissipated any type of negative thought I've had about myself. So many ups and downs, but like I'm very proud of myself to get to the point. I've done a lot of stuff my first year as a creator, all on my own. I didn't sign into an agency until like the last year, and then like things completely like changed drastically because I was no longer the one doing everything. Because I've always been, like the entire journey, I was always doing everything myself. The recording, the concept, the recording, the editing, the posting, the schedule. I used to study algorithm in Alabama as a hobby, but I moved here and the pandemic started, so it was no longer a hobby, I could do it for an actual job. And making that choice, first of all, believing myself to take that jump to do that as a full-time job, I never would have thought that I was able to do that. But honestly, in the last few years, I have been able to, I've seen so many new sides to myself in a positive way. So I'm like, oh damn, like I actually can do that. And also like I'm just pushing myself constantly and seeing not only what I'm presenting, but also how I'm reacting to things, because I used to be a very reactive person. And since being an influencer, I'm able to see that I can have those times to take a beat.
And mine's on the positive side too. I feel like I had no path when I was like out of high school. I didn't really go to college. I was working at a restaurant and just like drinking all the time with my friends, and which is fine, but I wasn't ever passionate about anything. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And then I found this and it fulfills me like so much. And I grew up watching like Jenna Marbles, Shane Dawson, Tana Mojo, and like they just like helped me so much, like escape from my life. And like I loved being in fandoms and being a fangirl for so many different things. So now that I get to do that for people, that fulfills me like so much. And I love it, and it makes me see myself so differently. Like I feel like I was very insecure growing up as a kid, as a teenager. Like I didn't have much confidence in myself, and now I do. And I feel like it's from like, I feel like I'm good at something and I'm helping people, so.
Social media has given me like definitely a sense of ambition of not only what I can do with social media, but what I can do from it, or where I can take like a different field if I want to go into some sort of like I studied communications in college, and I think that combined with social media experience has given me this kind of like, I've kind of looked up and looked at other career options, and I'm like, whoa, like there's this whole world out there. Whereas when I was 16, going viral for the first time, I wasn't thinking long term at all, and I wasn't thinking about doing social media as a career, but I'm so glad that it's lasted over 5 years at this point, and that I'm kind of like excited for the next step and excited for this next stepping stone. But I think maybe on the negative side, I'm sure maybe some of us do, some of us don't experience this. I think social media has definitely made me more critical of my appearance, or maybe like what outfit I'm putting on, or my outward presentation to the world if I'm choosing to film that day, because it matters and it reflects in, like video performance sometimes, like how put together the person looks. But I think there's positives and negatives of how social media has changed the way I viewed myself.
Live by the applause, die by the booze. That's why I'm on this line. I felt it on both scales of it, where it's like, it made me feel like, came from really not being anyone, like was not popular in school, like never really fit in. And then all of a sudden, all these people are like, you're awesome, you're funny, you're hot, you're cool. Like people are cutting their hair like you, like they're coming to your tour stops. Like it's this amazing feeling. But then it's also like, the people who are making fun of the way you look. Or like I dealt a lot, I'm sure a lot of people on social media and not, like we're all struggling with our body image. Like I started getting into, fillers and Botox and stuff. And that like really messed with my mind. Like there were some times where I was looking in the mirror and I was like getting freaked out because I didn't recognize myself. Cause like fillers always migrating. Like the Botox starts with your eyebrows here and then it's here. And it's like every single day I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, who is this person? Then I'm like disgusting, I'm hideous. At one point I was like extremely like small and I didn't even realize it until looking back. I'm like, oh, I was like sick. Like I was like very, very unwell. I guess to go back to that prompt about like being addicted to what people's opinions or validation, I think it was, I would consider myself like a recovering addict where like any other recovery, it's like, this is something I could easily fall back into.
Oftentimes I think about how I see myself from like a character, like my character, less than I see myself visually. And I look at myself as I was as a kid and I'm like, oh, she was so confident and cute and like just did not care. Like I would wear bedazzled ties to school and I would outgrow my jeans too fast and cut off the bottoms and make them jean leg warmers. And I was like, I don't care, like say whatever about me. But I think I lost a lot of the confidence in myself through posting myself online because I start to question if people are seeing things in me that I'm blind to about myself. So if somebody gives me a criticism that is about my character, I want to be self-aware. And so then I start to wonder, oh, are they seeing something that I'm just not aware of that I do? Like something about my privilege or the way I speak to my loved ones, or do I fall in love too easily or whatever? And I think that it makes my awareness of myself feel very blurry because I'm always taking everything with whatever the opposite of a grain of salt is. Like I'm always giving everything.
The whole shaker.
Yes, I'm giving them the whole shaker. I'm like actually taking it in and assessing it because I want to be self-aware. And I think that that's ruined my own confidence in my character. Logically, I understand that so many more people are nice than mean, but it's just like my brain and heart latches on to the one mean comment. And I think it is a desire to like defend myself or to understand why. Like when someone's nice, it's just, oh, that's so kind. And then there's nothing else to really process about that. But when someone is more critical or negative, there is more that my brain wants to unpack. And I'm like, did I do something wrong? Are they projecting something onto me? And I just feel myself kind of marinating on that for longer than I should.
When you've been up, you know that you can get up again. And when you start to move up again, some of the people who were friends down here, they mad at you because they never been up there, so they don't know that, it's just like, you can't win. When they stay lonely at the top, I'm like, got it, got it, understand.
Advice I would give to my younger self is don't place so much weight in what people think about you on the internet. They don't know you in person. They never will know you in person. All that matters is what your close friends and family think about you.
Be yourself, be kind, be loving. Like this other stuff, it's not ever going to make anyone happy. Like that's why you see so many stories of celebrities who are killing themselves and we still don't get it. Like this isn't going to make us happy. Achieving things in the world like is great and fun, but ultimately it's not gonna make you happy. So every movement where you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna bend my morals a little bit on this. I'm gonna do something I'm not really comfortable with. You're just like kind of giving more and more of yourself away. So I would tell myself, keep your privacy.
Hit the link below for perception box questions that invite you to zoom out, soften up, and see things a little bit differently.
In the center or right here? This was so much fun.
This was really fun.
Thank you everyone for sharing.
Somebody here smells great.